The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
No! I'm going down to Alphabet Street. I'm gonna crown this girl that I meet. I'm gonna talk.
Happy New Year, everybody. This is Cathy, and it is another effing year, man, and it's going to be a great one. I'm so excited because I have a great friend. There's an F word. There's the first F word of the year, friend. That's on the line with me, and you know what? Also, he is family because we are partnering up on some really exciting things, and we're spending a lot of time getting to do a lot of work together. It's going to get really busy. But first of all, everyone, you know what? Seriously, have many things to be grateful for. I've had, a long month. I know last time I was on, it's been, we had New Year's and we had Christmas, so I was incognito, not on the show. And doing family things, so friends, family. But I've been really fortunate to have my parents in town for a month. And they're flying back tomorrow. And they're excited to get home to Kentucky, where it's a little bit warmer, because just now it's getting cold again in Minnesota. But, I don't know if any of y'all made resolutions do that, but I decided really to resolve this year just to not waste time on people or projects that don't serve my purpose. And with that being said, someone that I spend a lot of time with who serves my purpose, and part of my purpose every day is to have this other F word, Brad Majors. You're not an F word. Well, you've probably been called an F word, but one of my major F words that I really feel strongly about is fun. And since you and I have been sitting together, I've had fun every day. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I've had a lot of fun myself.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Say hello,
Brad.
Brad.
To be here with you guys.
Out in Radio Land, they're all waving to you right now. But
that's what I'm picturing.
Yes, exactly. Without shirts on, which is kind of scary, because they're mostly like 74 years old. And no offense to 74-year-olds, no offense, but shirtless 74-year-olds probably aren't something you want to picture. So never mind. And you know what? We always go weird places. So look at where I went right away.
Just about every day we start our day that way.
And it's become almost an expectation. What are some of the...
For sure.
Okay, so let's talk about some of that. So what are some of your favorite moments of things that we've come up with in the mornings?
I like starting the day off just being goofy, because it kind of sets the tone for getting on the phone as we do.
Yes.
In our world, it's all about on the phone.
Right. Which sounds like an F word, you guys, but it's not, just in case you're wondering.
So yeah, I like and there are little challenges like when we were talking about the movie Elf. I suppose I don't have to be clean with this.
No, you don't. Be how you are normally. This is what I'm trying to be. So to everybody, you need to know this. So Brad and I work together every day. We sit next to each other, and this other friend of ours, Matt, who sits on the other side of us, the three of us literally start our day out laughing. We do.
Every day.
So, yes.
Tell me about 6-inch challenge. You got it 6 inches.
Yes. Well, okay, so tell the backstory to it. Tell the backstory. So Brad tells us, he's like, first he goes, Cathy, my garage door was stuck. Tell the rest of it.
Okay. Yeah, so I come home, and for those of you that don't live in Minnesota, things freeze solid, like your garage door spring. And then when you hit the button, the garage door goes up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, and then it goes down, and it goes up and down, and it won't stop until you manually stop it, because your garage door has frozen and broken in 2 places, which is what happened to me. And so, like, I'm describing this, and I'm like, it's 6 inches.
It's only going up 6 inches.
It's about like this. I have a good reference. And it snowballed from there.
It did, because, of course, immediately, so I'm sitting down, and I look at Brad, and I hold my finger and my thumb up, and I got like maybe 2 inches. And I go, oh, you mean this high? And he's what? I go, well, I've always been told this is 6 inches. And then we giggled, right? And that's why we have bad depth perception, ladies, because we've always been lied about inches. We're just like, no, honey, that is 8 inches. Okay? But my shoe heels are 5. My shoe heels are 5 inches. And wait, what? Okay, never mind. But then the funniest part of it is we told Matt, and Matt did the exact same thing with his finger and thumb. He said, "Oh, you mean this much?" But then what was the challenge?
Well, the challenge was to work it into your conversation.
Yes.
During the day.
During the day.
Just randomly. So, and it worked out. I mean, we actually got thrown a softball because we got a bunch of snow, so we could talk about how deep the snow was.
Exactly.
So it wasn't nearly as much fun as it could have been, but
yes. But it was like, it's literally one of those where it's like, oh, no, it was because North Carolina got a bunch of snow. And I talked to one of my agents in North Carolina, and I go, how much snow did you get? 6 inches? And she goes, no, 10 inches. And I go, way better. Oh my God. And they have no clue. They have no clue. But what was... Wait, there was another one. Because that was so good. Oh, shoot. Shit. I can say shit. It's the F word. That's not an F word, though. There was one that was really bad, and now I can't remember it. Because remember,
I know what you're referencing, but I can't remember either what the...
We'll come up. We'll think of it again. We'll think of it, everybody.
It was like shithole or something like that.
Oh, it was. But what was funny, Brad, is what you didn't know is my agent that I was on, Marion. Oh my gosh, she's awesome. And I said, it was like one of those, oh, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to say this word, but let me tell you ahead of time that this is a word that I'm supposed to try to work into a conversation. I know this ahead of time. So I told her, warned her. And because it was so, because I knew I could, but I said, so just know when I randomly say this, because we're having a different conversation right now, but he's walking up and I want to say it. Because you were walking up. And she's like, okay. And then remember, she got on speakerphone and confirmed it.
Well,
what was it?
I'm glad that you're willing to cheat at this game for my entertainment. I do like that.
Yes. Well, you were coming back, and I'm like, oh, I got to make it happen. And she was perfect, because I knew I could talk like that to her. Because it's like, all right, bitches, let's go. I mean, that's how she and I talk. It's like, we're going to make this year our bitch. That's the way we talk about things. So I went, yeah, I got this with her. I can do this. This is perfect. Okay, we're going to think about it. Okay, so Brad Majors.
Do you have your family in town, your parents in town for a month?
Yes, they leave tomorrow. I'm sad.
Holy. I didn't realize that they were, like, you kept saying, oh, I got to get my parents, oh, I'm doing this with my parents, and I guess I didn't even realize that they didn't live here.
I know. I'm gonna be Well, think about this. Now listen, and you know I like to make things about me. So think about this. I'm going to be alone after tomorrow. Alone. Fortitude. Wait. Not fortitude. That's not the word I'm looking for. I was looking at what was that? It was the Fortress of Solitude was where I was going. Fortress of Solitude, like Superman. Fortitude. Fortress and Solitude together is fortitude. Just so you know, I invented it. So that's the shortened version of Fortress of Solitude.
Words.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I'm all about it.
Except it has a different meaning.
Can I give you an example?
Yes.
And I think I'm right.
I'm betting you are.
I think I feel deeply that I am right on this.
Okay.
So my sister-in-law has a dog, and it's a mixed breed, just like my dog. But it's a Cavalier and a Poodle.
Oh, I love Cavaliers. Those are cool too. But I can't imagine what it looks like. Does it have curly hair?
Yeah, it does. It has curly hair, and it's smaller. It's got it's not quite as big as a poodle would get. But they call it a Cavadoodle. And I came up with a different name, a better name. I feel like it should be called a Poodleier.
Poodleier.
It's way better.
Poodleier. I like that one. I like that because it sounds like you should have your pinky up when you say it.
It sounds proper, doesn't it?
It does. So
what did you do with your parents
tonight?
While they were here?
Oh my God! Well, okay. Wow. You know what? I spent as much time with them as I possibly could. They stayed over at my brother's because my son, until last weekend, lived with me. And so he left me now too. So anyway, so they stayed at my brother's, and I would just always go over there and get them. And the day they got here. So my dad, people on this show, they've heard my mom and dad speak because I had them on. My dad is 80. My mom is 76, and so they came here. Obviously they come every year for the holidays. They split their time between Kentucky and Wisconsin. So my mom was born and raised in a little place called Dwarf, Kentucky, which is near Hazard. It's eastern Kentucky. Coal miner's daughter. That whole story that you ever heard, that was my mom's life. Barefoot. They have a toothbrush because they don't have teeth. Huh? What?
Do they make their own moonshine?
Yes. They don't anymore.
Sweet.
Because
they don't.
They don't, but no, I actually have moonshine in my cabinets for real stuff.
Do you?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a buddy that makes his family's from Indiana, same sort of right in that belt, right? That moonshine belt.
That's right. That's right.
Every once in a while, he'll throw us a jar of apple pie.
No, mine's the turpentine. Burn the skin out of your freaking innards kind of shit.
Make your brain spasm.
Mm-hmm. It's like you need to clean the plumbing. It's going to burn it all the way down. But
you have to start bonfires and stuff.
Ooh, oh my God, I can't. I bet you. Okay, here's an F word, fart. Bet you if if you're drinking and how guys will light them sometimes. If they were drinking this moonshine and lit it, they'd take off. They'd be like shooting off to the moon. So. Okay, because you know what? Why I know that? I know that. Just because I have friends that do stupid things like that, even in their 50s. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
I've never lit a fart. Ever. Not one time.
It's hysterical. Hysterical. And
can you blow up your insides? You can blow up your insides that way, can't you? Like you remember that movie Backdraft?
Yes. Which is like I'm not gonna lie, I did it once too. So not in my 50s though. Not in my 50s. Maybe 49. No, but I did. It was like the girls. The girls and I had too much to drink. It's like, I dare ya. Okay. Yeah. So that was one of the stupid things.
Well, I'm glad you didn't blow up.
I just blew out. Yes. Oh my God! It was one of those though when it happened. You know, when you laugh so hard and you're crying and you're it's the that laugh.
Yeah, it was the silent. Yeah, you're finding that air just.
It was that laugh. The three of us. I mean, friends since being in, since we were crawling. It's those friends, that I've known my entire life. Those are the only ones you could really do that in front of. Hey,
so let me ask you this, because I haven't done that. I haven't laughed like that in a while. And I don't know if it's... I can't remember the last time that I laughed like that. But it may or may not have been before I quit drinking. So I wonder if there's like some magic, euphoria area, where you get that. But you don't normally get that.
That kind of laughter I've had, though I can honestly say the one person that I get that laughter with is my friend Sandy, and I've known her since she was conceived. That's kind of weird. Yes. Because we know the day she was conceived, and I was 3. My friend Tracy's birthday party, and her mom came over and told my mom, Tracy's mom, that she just got pregnant because she knew. But, yeah, so I've known her that long, and that's my one friend, so I've known since I was, literally since she was born. And that's my friend that I can be sitting there and it doesn't even matter. We can be laughing like that. And then also my friend Tammy. Oh, but you know what? Yeah, there's always some kind of alcohol going on too. Never mind.
Is it a secret? I mean, can you do it without?
Oh, yeah. I
I'm
wish
sure
I could. Because I think what it would be is what would make us laugh like that is recalling the shit that made us laugh like that, I bet.
Okay, wait a minute. I do remember a time, and I almost don't want to admit it, but I do.
Well, Brad, the fact that I admitted to lighting a fart on the radio, okay.
Okay,
so, nobody listens to it.
You threw your trump card a little early, but that's okay.
Yes.
So I was laughing actually at work.
Okay.
About that stupid South Park video, and it was the one where Jimmy is doing stand-up comedy, and it's as South Park is, it's super inappropriate.
It's very inappropriate. Okay, so inappropriate gets me every time. That's my favorite.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's one of those things where have you ever been laughing really hard and you shouldn't be? And I'm not talking about like in class, like after the teacher has told you stop laughing.
Yeah.
Like, and I can't stop laughing. Yes. Not that one.
Yep.
But the one where you simultaneously feel guilt for laughing.
Okay, you know what? Yes. I get that. And you know what? I was just thinking of another one. How about the kind when you're having to hold it in because you're in a meeting?
Yeah.
And because I was just in a meeting recently, and this guy that I'm next to texted me, and the girl that was talking, he just wanted to clarify her name, and he thought that it was spelled with an AH at the end, and I said, no ah. So I just put no AH. And he goes, the ah's important. And so then we started, and then her shirt was unbuttoned, and her boobs were showing. And so then, of course, talking, and we're texting each other under the table. I mean, in a small conference room. And we can't look at each other because he said, look at her boobies. And then I went, and then she was talking about low-hanging fruits, and I go, those are low-hanging fruits. and our bodies are shaking. We're shaking. You know that kind where we're like, can't look at each other.
Did you do the turn it to a cough? And
yes.
Then try not to drool?
Yes.
You know, that move?
Oh my gosh. It was just like, that was, okay, so that was recent. That was like a month and a half ago. So, I mean, it wasn't, I mean, I think the biggest, you know what, it's not even alcohol, it's called immaturity. That's what it is.
All right.
Because I am so guilty. I don't ever want to be that mature that I don't find the humor in ridiculous shit.
Yeah, I hear you there. I mean, I like some good poop humor or slapstick or something. Mm-hmm. You know, just off the wall stupid.
Well, it's just the
or slightly offensive.
Offensive, inappropriate. That okay. My favorite stuff is when my kids roll their eyes at me because.
Do they still do it the same as when they were little?
No. Now it's more of like a.
No.
Well, no, because I'm raunchy in front of them because I don't care because now they're all adults, and even my mom, my mother, their grandmother tonight at dinner. I can't remember what it was she said. She goes, "Oh well, that's." They're all adults now. They get to hear this side of Grandma now. It's just like
which child gets the most embarrassed around? Because they all have significant others, right?
Yes. Oh, it's definitely the youngest.
Okay. He can't handle it, huh?
No, he can. But
it's embarrassing when he's got his girl around you and you're being raunchy.
Yes. Well, because I'm just always... okay, well, here's something funny that happened at dinner tonight. So, Austin was saying something, and I said, oh, like, your dad used to call me Allie Jr., and then his girlfriend Shelby goes, oh, that's funny. That's like when I call Austin Cathy. And I look at her, and I go, well, when do you do that? Right? Because I'm like, okay, what is my kid doing to be being called Cathy? And it's like, well, usually when he's being inappropriate at an inappropriate time. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. Good to know the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Well, no, actually, it's when he's probably laughing at somebody that might have special needs and he doesn't realize it because that's what you do. I know, and I don't try, never. But okay, here's one of my favorite ones, Brad. I went to Home Depot with my dad and my youngest son, and Mason was like 14. And they had like employee pictures up in the paint department. One guy, his picture was making a really funny face. I go, hey, Mason. And I made the same face and pointed at it and looked at Mason, right? I'm like, yeah, right? And the guy who was in the picture walked around the corner at that exact time, and he was special needs. And Mason, and the guy came up and he's like, can I help you with anything? And I'm like, and my kid walked away so fast and was around the corner, and I'm like, no, and I couldn't talk because Mason.
You have the best open mouth insert foot stories,
right?
Ever.
I know, and I'm like, and I couldn't talk though. I mean, that's where I started stuttering, and I'm looking at him, and Mason is like in my peripheral vision, and he's looking at me, and he's like almost floating. And just doing this, like, sideways look at me and a smirk. And I want to cry. Because I'm like, oh, my God. I am the most horrible example of parenting planet. And it's always been something stupid like that. Where I'll be like, oh, look at me. I got to go pee. Right? Because I'll make fun of how somebody... I'm like, oh, they're doing the potty dance. No, Mom. They have polio. You know, something like that. Be like, oh, no. Yeah. I mean, and I mean it always just to be funny and not mean.
Right. No, Cheryl and I, Cheryl's my wife.
Well, okay.
for reference, we do that. We our humor is meant for us, right? It's not meant for the outside world.
But sometimes,
sometimes the window, just the door's open, or you're not careful about it, which clearly you need to work on. But I get it. We do these things like our phone call stuff in the morning, to get us going for the day. Do that just for yourself.
I should just text Marion and ask her what it was I said. She probably forgot to. No, okay. So speaking of Cheryl, here's what I want to do right now, Brad. Because now we're halfway in, and nobody really knows anything about you except for that you laugh with me every day. We work together, but nobody knows Brad Majors. And by the way, my Siri calls you Brad Muggers. No, it's Mager. You're Brad Meggers. And my Siri is an Australian man's voice.
I've heard that before, and I looked through all of my voices, and because you inspired me, and so I started looking at them, and they were just all shit.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of them, so I went back to the. Okay, so
where did you? Let's start talking about you. Where you grew up. Tell me about your family. And let's just go. Just tell us the story of Brad Majors.
So I grew up the first part of life in Buffalo, New York, with my mom, and she was a single mom because my dad, which is another story, was not in the picture, and she met my stepfather there.
Yes.
And they started dating and living together, and for all intents and purposes were married.
Right.
And then we moved to Minnesota when I was about 13.
How did you feel about that? Ooh, feel. That's
sucked.
not word. At 13, that had to really suck.
Yeah. In the spirit of the F word, it was fucked up.
Yeah.
For a 13-year-old, going from a city environment, sort of, to Hick, not Hick, but it was Hick Town, USA. Prior Lake back in the day was really small.
Oh, hell yeah,
really,
it was.
Really small.
That was before the casinos.
We had less than 200. I think we had less than 200 in our graduating class.
Wow. Yeah, that's... Prior Lake.
Yeah, it was pretty small. You kind of knew everybody, pretty much. You knew a lot of people.
Right.
Anyway, so I got in a lot of fights. There you go. There's our F word.
Why did you get in fights, Brad?
Because I was a 13-year-old boy.
But
from a big city. Everyone wants a piece of you.
Did you have like the New York accent a little bit, and so you were different? And
yeah.
I hate that bullying shit. The bullying shit pisses me off. So they bullied you literally into fighting.
Yeah, but that was, I don't know if it just felt different. It feels different as a parent than it does when you're going through it.
Yeah.
I think. Because when I went through it, it was just kind of like I expected it. I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I knew how to. I knew how I was going to deal with it, whether it worked or not.
Right.
And it ended up working.
Did you get in trouble for that, though?
What's that?
Did you get in trouble for fighting?
Yeah.
Cool.
In school, I did a lot. Yeah. But so here's the funny lead-in, right? So when I was in New York, I wanted to play football.
Cool.
And another F word for us, football. And that's one of your favorites, right?
Yes.
So, but my parents, or my mom, we lived 5 minutes from my grandma. And my grandma, who was heavily involved in raising me, was like, no way he's playing football. Which made sense because it was like 70 to 120 pounds with the class. You know, it wasn't even ages. It was just, you know, those pounds. So you could have somebody in 7th grade playing with somebody in 3rd grade. It just didn't make sense. So my grandma was like, no, hell no, he's not doing that. Well, when I came out here, because I knew I was good at it, just from the little bit that I had done with, you know, people in the neighborhood. So I wanted to play. I was like, Mom, I'm playing. She's like, all right, I'll sign you up. So, and then these kids, they're like, they just want to fight. And football practice is the best place to fight because you're off school grounds.
Ooh.
And, you know, there's no teachers, no parents really. It's practice. You get there before the coaches show up. So that's what happened. My mom dropped me off. And I was like, I was trying to be smooth about it and sly. I'm like, man, yeah. So, Mom, hey, you see that kid over there? That's the kid that wants to fight me tonight. And she just taps me on the leg. All right, good luck. I'll see you at 8 o'clock.
Oh, my gosh.
Just a kind of a finger to your child, like, okay, you want to fight for this? You want to give me a bunch of shit about playing football? Here you go. Go play some football. So, anyway, I didn't lose any fights in high school, and then I got out of high school.
Wow.
Because I was running with the wrong crowd all the time.
Okay.
And
explain the wrong crowd. What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
With the wrong crowd?
Yeah. Drink?
Oh, yeah. In and out of, you know, weekend stays in the clink.
Okay. Yep.
And, you know, just doing stupid stuff, always on probation.
There you
go.
A
lot of my friends, they're like, you're just bored in Prior Lake. If
right.
You're not
what is there? Yeah.
Playing sports, there's nothing to do for kids there, or there wasn't at the time. So if you didn't have a bike, you were stealing one. You know, you're just like, that's what we did. So it was, you know, just constant trouble.
Right. And Prior Lake, Shakopee was kind of like Prior Lake, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, these towns exist all over.
Right.
All over the country, right? You know, and so with the lack of things for kids to do, they do stupid shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
But then I started losing fights, right? When I got out of high school, you know, I'm just starting to see the world and not really, I didn't go to school. I was like, screw school. And then you know, that was about the time I started dating Cheryl.
Okay.
And,
how did you meet?
Funny story. Our high school friends pushed us together. So she went to Burnsville, I went to Prior Lake.
Okay.
And all my skater, hood rat, ruffian, like thief, degenerate friends
Yep.
were dating all of her friends.
I love it.
And so we were constantly partying together, and we had just never met. Our paths had never crossed. And her friends were telling her about me and vice versa. And so finally, like a long time into this thing, I had been hearing about her for over a year.
What?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was like, you know, when something goes too long, and then it's almost like, oh wow, okay, this is happening now. You know, it was at a party. We just ran into each other in the hall, and we're like, hey, it's you.
I love it. So you guys were still in high school.
Well, she was. She was just finishing up high school. I was done.
Oh, okay.
I had been out because I'm about 2 years older than her.
Okay.
So I was out and partying with our friends up at their college dorm rooms and whatnot.
Right.
And yeah, that's how it started for us. And I, at the time, you know, I'm still doing all my stupid, you know, just
guy
skirting the law, guy shit, you know.
What'd you do for money? What'd you do for money?
I worked at a warehouse job. During the day, I just ran a forklift around.
That's cool. So you made good money.
I did. I
Yeah.
made good money. And then I was landscaping for a summer. I've done a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly all physical jobs. But then I started losing these fights, and then I decided, well, shoot, I better learn how to fight. And I had always kind of been into martial arts, so I started taking martial arts class. And I was taking it really serious, and it led my life, and of course meeting Cheryl and doing that at the same time, it just kind of led my life down a path where I just never put myself in those situations anymore.
Love it.
So, yeah.
I was saying that was like you grew up a little bit that day.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And we had our first child really young. I mean, she was just barely 21, and I was, 23 or 24.
Okay.
And now we're empty nesters, and I think that's where you were going. You're going to be empty nesting now, too, or what?
I know, but I'm empty nesting alone. Ick. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be an empty nester and be single. That's not what you think about that. It's like, kids grow up. I mean, usually, not that I'm an expert on the matter, but a lot of times, once couples become empty nesters because they're so focused on raising the kids, then all of a sudden the kids are gone and they look at each other and go, who the fuck are you? And what did I ever even see in you? You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I don't even get to do
Cheryl
that.
and I had that conversation.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. We were like, what happens? It's just a natural question, I think. What happens when she goes? And you don't, because so much of your day is, all right, are the kids ready? Did they go to school? Right. How did school go? What did they do after? What are they having for dinner? Okay, let's start the day over again,
Right.
It just, and then you have none of that anymore.
I know.
And it's just, and it's just the two of you. So we were worried about, what is that going to look like? And it's just been a lot of fun for us. It's been a pretty natural progression.
Because you married your best friend. You guys had fun together. You were young together. You're growing together. I mean, you're doing so many different things. And then your daughter, is that the dog?
Can you hear my dog?
Yes.
He's trying to attack me right now.
I love it.
He wants to play.
Oh, how cute. What kind is he? Tell everybody.
He's a Morkie.
The Morkie.
His name is Bentley.
Bentley.
So he's a Maltese Yorkie mix.
I'm in love with him. I want to see him. Oh, my God. Oh, so...
Which Morkie is probably the right way. I don't think Yaltese is what you want to go with.
So I have a wiener dog, which is very fitting because wiener was always one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
I always used wiener because wiener was cleaner. And raising boys, it was either a wiener or a weepster. I never said the, words. And
cock.
Dick, right? Oh my God, I used to call it your down there. Did you get your down there clean? I was like such, oh my God. When I played a mom on TV, because I don't think ever really was one, but that's how I talked, and everybody was like, oh my God, Cathy, you say wiener? I'm like, yes.
Who dilly and your cha-cha?
Yeah. Down there. Yes. Do you have those toys for down there? Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, so I have to tell you a funny story. One time I was in Cabo. I think it was the first time. It was the second time. Anyway, I was in Cabo, and we were at the bar we always go to every night, and my girlfriends, I guess, as if you possibly could do it, I guess they thought that I'd had too much to drink, and that they told me, Cathy, sit there and think about what you've done, and don't drink anything. And I'm sitting there like, wait, what? In my little
time out me?
They timed out me and cut me off in Mexico. And I'm sitting there like I'm 3, pouting, And all of a sudden, I noticed that they turned around, and I'm going, well, every time they turn around, I'm drinking their fucking drinks, bitches. So, like, I'll show them, right? So they turn around and they're like, oh, my beer's gone. And I'm just sitting there like, la, la, la. I was like, yep, guzzled it. Get another one. So, like, just grab another one, not think of it. Well, then all of a sudden, I realized that, they're dancing. Because they're all drunk, too. Don't even, think it's just me. But I guess I'm just the one that gets most attention because of things that I do. But, so all of a sudden, I just sneak away. And we met these girls from New York. And because they had said, that's it for you, no more drinks for you, you're cut off. I'm like, whatever. So then, I don't really remember it, but kind of. But I came back to the table with a whole tray of Jell-O shots. And they looked at me, and I go, you don't get any. These are mine. I'm having them. They're not drinks. They're Jell-O. So just go away. And because I figured, because they're not drinks, I'm just going to eat these. Right? So I have all these, the entire tray.
Oh,
and
man.
All of a sudden, this guy...
How many shots is that? That's got to be a lot.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah, it's probably 20. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But anyway, so I just took... all I know is that I came back. I don't know what I did while I was gone. But I come back and I put this tray on our table. And I, scoot into the booth. And it's one of these booths where you have to climb up into it and then you dance. There's like places to dance around it. It's Mexico. And all of a sudden this guy comes up and the girls that we met from New York knew who he was all right away because he was famous. I don't care.
Was he the Dos Equis guy?
No. It was... Oh. So he walks up and he looks at them and he's like, she's with you? Yes. Did she take those from you? Yeah, she did. But she can have them. I just wanted to make sure she was okay where she was going. And I'm like, bye. And he leaves. And the girls from New York, they're like, oh my God, that's Mike Cameron from the Mets. I still don't, I guess he was a baseball player.
Oh, okay.
Mike Cameron from the New York Mets.
I have no idea. I'm not a baseball player.
I know. So, baseball guy. And they're going, how the hell did you get his Jell-O shots? I go, I don't know. Maybe I touched his wiener. And that, from then on, that's where wiener and me, became, they're like, oh my God, she says wiener. She says wiener. And that was the rest of the week. They're like, oh my God, did you touch anybody's wiener today? I'm like, and so then my friends would always give me little wiener dog gifts and little wiener dog cards. And so I had to get a wiener dog. That's why I have a wiener dog. So there.
You ever seen those things race? They race them out of Canterbury.
They're hysterical. Great. I never went to it. I have to. But okay, now let's go. Sorry, I took a long time telling that story. So now let's go back to you, Cheryl. And you took martial arts.
Yeah, I actually got pretty heavily involved in that, and ended up opening my own school, and then a couple more little clubs and another school. And
how many employees did you have?
1.5, including myself.
Okay.
So, it was really, really horribly mismanaged. I think it could have been better served in a different setting, another community, maybe. The one that I was in was maybe too small to support a school and a full-time job for myself.
So what were you doing for work then?
So part of the time I was running a cab. Another part of the time I was, running a vending route during the day and teaching at night. So it consumed trying to keep a paycheck coming in and running that business and trying to build it up. And, it would get to the point where it was supporting me, and then it would lose, and it's membership-based deal. So
right.
Members come and go, and so your pay goes up and down. And unless you are really successful in a big town and you have lots and lots of paying students, you're probably not eating real well.
Right.
So, it got to the point where Kira was in high school. She only had a couple of years left. I had now started at ECA. I was still running those when I started at ECA.
Uh-huh. Well, how did you find out about ECA?
Oh, it's because Joe, so it was in Jordan.
Yeah.
And so Joe, the president of ECA, I'm sure you mentioned him maybe once or twice.
Uh-huh.
He and I knew each other from town. We ran with kind of the same circles, and our kids were obviously growing up and going to the same schools. So, we knew each other, and we got to talking, and he knew that I was interested in what he did and learning how to break into the business. So he said, you should come in and apply, So I did, and I didn't get the job the first time. They went with somebody else.
Who did you apply with? Joe?
So I interviewed with Joe for a while, and then I interviewed with Steph and Cheryl.
Okay.
And they ended up going with somebody else, which, so I was like, all right, well,
I wonder who
this
it was.
wasn't. I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but he wasn't making any calls, I guess. He was just kind of going through the motions.
I kind of think I know who it is. Okay, go ahead.
So, anyway.
I think he didn't last. Yeah.
No, yeah, he didn't last very long.
Yeah.
And then some time went by. I was kind of doing some odd jobs. I worked by the yard for a couple months, actually, building those chairs and stuff. People have in their backyards.
Okay.
And then, then I ran into Joe again, and he said, "Hey, we're interviewing for another position, that Highland position, and you should come in and apply for that." So I did, and I interviewed actually. That time, sorry, I got him back to front. The first time around, I was interviewing for the 5Q job with Kyle,
okay.
And then the second time was Steph and Cheryl. So,
okay.
And that's the time that they came back and they offered me the position. But at that time, I also had a job offer from Chad Jervanka, and it was a better offer.
Okay.
It was a better offer, so I went with that job.
Okay.
And I was with him for a little less than a year.
Okay.
And he let me go because it was a small boutique shop, and he had 6, 7 employees, 8 employees.
Right.
And numbers dipped down too long for a while, stretch of time. The low man on the totem pole goes. So
right.
I got the axe there, and then I ran into Joe a third time, and that's when he said, "Hey, we're hiring for the Highland job," and offered me that. They offered me that job, which ended up just being like the sales desk.
Right.
Because Highland was not a good relationship with ECA. So anyway,
wow.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot in those years with Kevin on the desk, and then was able to step away. First successful groomed marketer from the desk to move away and be successful on their own.
That's wonderful.
So I'm a pioneer.
You are. I love
it. But now I get to sit next to you, and
and it's all downhill from there, baby.
Yep. Get a lot of good laughs over in that corner.
Well, you know what though? It's like we got a lot of good laughs, but you know what? We're doing some really good things. What I'm really excited about is getting to know more about you and hearing you, how smart you are, and you went and got your 65.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, talk to you about Hall of Fame Financial, and I
love that model too, by the way.
Thank you.
You've built something really, really cool.
And it's
I'm excited to be a part of it.
And I'm so excited to have you be a part of it because and I told you, I've started. Any startup tends to be stopped and started. If it doesn't, if you just go, my God, Brad, we only get one chance to make a first impression. Usually my first impression is like me putting my foot in my mouth. But with this, I'm really protective of it. And
well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump on where you're going, but the thing I love is that you and I match up from a philosophy standpoint of what we want to do. We want to help a lot of people. I started volunteering. Both my wife and I both volunteer for Nokomis Healthy Seniors, which is a wonderful group in South Minneapolis, and they operate out of a church in a really low budget operation, but they do a lot of good in the community, and so when seniors need help, they can call into the church and get hooked up with them, and they send volunteers like me and my wife out to do little odd jobs. So we've been doing that.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. It's really fun. You get to meet a bunch of these folk. They love just telling their story and talking to you. And that's what I like about working with you and working in the financial services industry is we can just talk to people and hear their story.
Right.
And then be like, oh, that's cool. Let me help you put a box around that story and protect it.
Yes. Exactly. And everybody, the one thing, like what you said, there's lower income people, there's people with high net worth. The one thing that we all have in common is we all have a legacy. And nope, can't do it. You know what I was going to do.
I know what you're going to do. You're good. You're good. Go wherever you want.
Right. Well, so you know what? It's so important. When you think of you're working with the elderly, but a lot of people don't think about things when they're younger. And
right.
I've lost a couple of good friends. This one that I just lost is really hard. But I don't know if he set things up financially for his family because he's younger. He was only 57. But the one thing that I'm noticing, Brad, if we could have people talk about us the way that they're talking about him, then we did our job. Doesn't matter how we end up with whatever we have in the bank, but at the end of your life, at the end of the day, whatever, if you're making a difference, like you and Cheryl are helping these seniors, when you're doing something like that and people remember you for that, but you're not out there because Ben wasn't out there ever saying, look at me, look what I did, look at this, look at that, but he was out there. He always wanted to help. If I needed help, he was there. You know what he did one time? And he was big. He was a big man, 6'8". He said 6'8". Everything out there says 6'9". But out of his mouth on this show, he said he was 6'8". So I'll go with what he says. He probably shrunk. He probably shrunk. That's what we do. But anyway, I told him, I was talking to him, I had gone out and bought some furniture at an estate sale, and my girlfriend and I dropped some stuff off from her place, and I had to leave a few things in the yard so then we could go run and drop things off at her place real quick. And I came back, and the things that I had in the yard were gone. And I just recently moved here to Chanhassen in these townhomes, and I'm like, well, wait, where's this grill? And where's this armoire, right? And I'm like, what the heck? Somebody came in the hour that I was gone and took them. And they took them.
Sometimes they do that in the suburbs. You just leave stuff out in the yard like that. It means come get it.
Right, but it was not at the curb. It wasn't at the curb.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I just still needed to move it into the garage. And anyway, I saw that this guy, I put signs up. I'm like, hey, whoever, I don't know anybody yet. But anyway, I saw this guy at the end of the corner one day. his garage was open. I saw my armoire. And I'm like, are you what? You're kidding me. And so then I called Ben, biggest guy I know. I'm like, Ben, this is a guy. Because I told him, like, oh my God, this stuff happened. So he's like, let's go. I'm coming over. Let's go over there. Dude wouldn't open his door. But I had Big Ben. I mean, 6 foot. I mean, big man, NBA player, huge. And that guy did not open his door. I knew he was home, but
Did you get that armoire?
I got it back. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it was like, because he just said, "Hey, that piece of furniture." It was beautiful. But that was a guy that would always have your back. But that's what we do with Hall of Fame Financial makes people talk about us, helps them talk about everybody else that we help in the same light, then we did our jobs the right way.
Absolutely.
And that's where the financial side of things, that's a given. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to help people with. But doing it for the right reasons. That's exactly.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you know what? We only have a minute left. See how fast that goes?
Oh, okay.
But, Brad, will you come back? Will you come and talk to me next week? And
yes, absolutely.
I pulled this on you really quickly, but you know what? Let's have some really good things to talk about next week. I really want to, when I'm talking about a legacy, I want us to talk about some different topics that will help people start thinking about that and get a hold of us at Hall of Fame Financial, okay? Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the F Word tonight, Brad. I'll see you in the morning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. See you next week, or hear you, or whatever it is that we do. Bye.
Yeah.